lesser vampires would heed a higher vampire's call and commands.
As a rule, they don't.
So how Detloff sick them on the city?
I told you, he's exceptional. He manages to bend them to his will, control them with his thoughts. They'll continue attacking until he orders them to back down, until he dies.
Time to end this. Monster's still here. Show me what you got. Need to look around. Armor proved useless. Claws sliced through steel like through butter.
We must hurry. Each moment's delay means
They broke formation, ran.
That's it. It's Damien's blood. He was wounded.
Let's go. Barricade put up in the street.
Pointless. That's an obstacle to overcome.
They didn't know. Fell on his face in the street, struck in the back.
That's
Tried
an
to
obstacle
run.
to overcome.
They didn't know. I didn't get a chance to prepare them. Come on! Need to look around.
We must focus.
Armor proved useless. Claws sliced through steel like broke formation. Ran.
That's it. Geralt, care to come back?
Barricade put up in the street.
Pointless. That's not.
Fell on his face. Struck in the back. Tried to run.
They must have realized his position.
Hope they found a corner to hide in. Won't be anyone to talk to if not. Fell on his face. Struck in the back. Tried to run.
They must have realized his position.
Hope they found a corner to hide in. Won't be anyone to talk to if not. Well, how long you gonna make me wait? Knight's body. Guillaume must be in the bank, barricaded themselves inside.
I cannot
That stench.
recognize the vampire. Can we just go? What's the matter? Sir, we will.
You killed it! Single-handedly! That harlot's brood slaughtered half my unit!
I see the harlot's brood came close to slaughtering you as well.
Need to withdraw. You and your men. Now.
My duty lies with the city.
Won't help the city by leading your men to the slaughter. Damien, conversation back at the palace, remember? I'll say it again. Your men don't stand a chance.
Men, tend to the wounded and prepare to march out.
Doing the right thing. Now listen close. Silver. That's what you want to use against vampires. Your alchemists, order them to produce as much vampire oil as they can. Churn it out in gallons. Then coat your blades with it. Keep an eye out for Alps and Bruxae. The shapely ones resemble women. There one moment, gone the next. Bombs containing silver splinters are a pretty good idea.
Thank you, Witcher. I hope you're worth the coin the Duchess pledged you. And that you'll return with the head of the wretch that did this, skewered on a hook.
Your problem's my problem.
How?
All I can say just now.
You know the Duchess's decision.
We know it, but
You've that luxury. I do not.
Folk are dying.
If Her Grace learns I helped you,
and ours will follow right after it. Yet still we are prepared to I fear we waste our time here.
wait. When last
Playroom? As in, for children? You sure?
I've served in the Ducal Palace for...
Playroom? So what?
Honestly, I've no clue.
Got it. I'll look into it. You get back to your barracks.
And you've...
I helped Beauclair.
Let's go, Regis. Locked. Of course. Regis. Rather not have a fist fight with his door. Would you mind? Thanks.
At your service.
Utter silence. No one here.
We should look around at least.
A Tin Knight. Wooden duck. Somebody broke its wings off. Wooden duck. Somebody broke its wings off. What the? Found a notebook. Property of Isabelle de Roquefort.
I'm not sure it will help, but
Sienna get
charming.
of freshly decapitated bodies covered in blood.
Perhaps not so much.
I asked her why ever she would draw such a thing. Her Highness claimed it was a rendering of nightmares which have plagued her for as long as she can remember. Sienna does. Curse of the Black Sun. Supposedly girls afflicted by it had horrible dreams. Kind of horrible that made some of them go mad. The girls quarreled today. I must note rather sadly they did not behave as befits future ladies. Anna Henrietta was first to strike her sister. See, by the time I separated them, His Grace the Duke refused to believe my version of events. He laid all the blame on Sienna and vowed to punish the little one harshly.
Once you're labeled...
Today I accompanied the girls for the first time to the land of 1,000 fables. First we played with Thumbelina, then with...
I'm beginning to suspect Isabel de Roquefort wrote in her diary after taking a powerful hallucinogenic.
Shh, don't interrupt. I tip my cap to Master Artorius Figo for his achievement.
Wait, Artorius was the court...
Regis, last warning. The girls told me if I ever wish to visit alone, I need but...
A book as the key to an illusion.
Mages sent by the Conclave, I cannot know what conclusion...
Curse of the...
Or had that label planted on her. He did not reply. I tutored the girl. Sienna applies herself so, though she has great difficulty memorizing new vocabulary. When she thought me out of earshot, she called me a blood accuser. She and Sienna laughed so hard they... Blooda is damned, or cursed. What's Cusa?
In the melodious tongue of our none-too-friendly neighbors to the south, the word describes the many-petaled flower that blooms in that place we so unmelodiously call the crotch.
Realize this might sound...
Not impossible.
Where's that book? Locked. Miniature tableware. And plush toys. Cute. Nothing under the carpet.
Did you expect something? Apart from the dust swept under there by a lazy chambermaid.
Well, well. A key tucked behind a picture. This it? Let's see. Expecto ludum. Regis? Regis! Land of 1,000 fables. Incredible. Let's see where this road takes me. Eye of Nehelene is going wild. Whole land's an illusion, but so powerful there's no way to dispel it. And the Hellenes going wild. Whole land's an illusion, but so powerful there's no way to dispel it. Whoa, that should be interesting.
Here's the thing. This is the same issue with Misfits where like... No, that should be legal, bro. I should not be able to watch that, bro. What the fuck I did? No, that should be like suable. Like, what was that, man? How old am I? I'm 27, bro. Yeah, I'm a little old, sadly. You know how I know I'm old? Because I sometimes wake up and I listen to the top songs and I don't even know who the fuck the artists are, bro. Like, I finally get it. Sabrina Carpenter is to you losers what Katy Perry was to me when I was a kid. I don't know, you know, does that make me old? No, it just makes me retarded.
Hey Siri, what is plasma in blood?
According to Wikipedia.org, blood plasma, then...
Where do I get this app? Curious, just curious, you know what I mean? So I can avoid it, obviously. Obviously. This is the Twin Towers. I can sense it. I'm like Professor X. I'm telling you. The quality, the text, the skull. And just like that, bro. Like, bro, I sniffed like a fucking, like an airport dog, bro.
Me pretending to defend myself from all the femboy allegations.
No, bro, no. Femboy heaven! Oh, dude, we still get this account every day. No, man.
Babe, what can I do for you to forgive me?
Oh no, Indian.
Bark.
I'm sorry, man, to the Indians in my chat. I'm sorry. I'm reducing 5 points from the respect that I
ASRock motherboards seem to be experiencing 9800X3D CPU failures at a higher rate than other motherboards. This user reports a CPU dying after 2 months. This one experienced failure after 2 days. Another user reports a dead 9800X3D after a week and then claims the replacement 9800X3D also died after a week. This sample of 42 reported 9800X3D failures, compiled by Reddit user natty_overlord, wonder if he's natty, consists of over 80% observed on ASRock motherboards. Google form results collected by OFSAD, who granted us permission to share the results, show numerous failures sharing the same CPU batch and lot number. This highlights possibly bad batches from AMD, but we think that it's more likely a BIOS issue. Other users claim they revived their seemingly dead CPU by downgrading to a previous BIOS, and ASRock sent 2 users a then unreleased BIOS that resolved their issues, but asked them not to share it. If these issues keep happening and AMD and ASRock can't get to the bottom of it, we'll do a first-party testing, hands-on validation session with some of the boards and CPUs that might be affected, but we think it looks like they're getting to an answer, so we're gonna just kind of monitor for another couple days because it looks pretty close to a resolution here. This appears to be a couple possible issues. BIOS is definitely one of them, and then we'll talk about the batch thing. It's kind of, it's a little shaky. We'll see how that looks on AMD. There's a lot of correlation there that we need to explore, but we'll be able to use this piece later if ASRock and AMD can't resolve it to then dig in with all of the research laid out. And that's what it's here for, is to offer you all a quick recap. We've compiled all of the information we can find out there so far about these specific issues and failures. So you'll have all the evidence in front of you. If it helps you research any issues you're running into, then we'll also pose a couple of solutions we've found or we've thought up. We're making this because we compiled all the research for it, but we haven't done a first-hand testing deep dive on this yet because we're basically at a stage where we're trying to figure out if that's necessary. This is a bit of a new approach for us, where we're compiling all our research and we're just going to put it out there and hopefully it helps some of you. And then likewise, hopefully some of the people who are running into problems with this issue might contact us with potential leads on where to go next. This is also Tannen on the team, his first solo research piece. So he's done a great job of compiling everything, digging through the forums, and putting together this report to share with you all and hopefully help some people who are running into this. And then again, we'll follow up with this as we learn more. It might just be hardware news, but if a lot of you post with potential leads with what you think it may be, or if you have the problem, then it's possible we revisit this for hands-on testing. It's just our lab is completely backlogged right now with all the other failures going on in the industry. There's a lot of them. Let's get into it. The failures in any CPU line can happen, but they used to be pretty uncommon. That is, until Intel had something to say about it.
Thanks, Steve.
No, Intel, that's not what you shouldn't be saying that right now.
Back to you, Steve.
Okay, all right, okay, we're gonna move on. Historically, CPU failures were very uncommon, and even today, the 13th and 14th gen are unique. But generally speaking, CPUs are bulletproof components. However, thanks to Intel, bad Intel, no. All right, enough of that. We're gonna look into these failures, but they are pretty uncommon still, broadly speaking, so we just want to temper the expectation. The 9800X3D that famously exploded on Reddit a few months ago is also still in recent memory, but after doing the forensics on that one in a different video, all evidence pointed towards crushing the socket at an angle. You can see that in our diagram where we counted the pixels one by one to then highlight how 12 volts was misaligned with ground between the pins and the pads. That system also died immediately and before the user was ever able to boot, which further reinforces that 12 volts shorted to ground because it just died instantly. These ASRock and 9800X3D failures we're talking about today, they're different from that. They're happening sometimes months into use, meaning that the systems did work, but they stopped spontaneously. Now, generally speaking, the pins don't spontaneously just move. They aren't these tentacle-like creatures that can reroute themselves to a different pad and then short it later. Normally, I mean, that has happened in the past. There's a few documented cases of it. Those people were never heard from again, but typically you don't have to worry about that. But if you hear weird creaking coming from under your heatsink, then just don't remove the heatsink. This is just our advice. But we're kind of back to the beginning, which is generally CPUs are pretty stable, except in this instance, seeing dozens of reported failures with some fuzziness between does a failure mean it's just not stable or it's died, dozens of those in a week, that draws attention. For perspective though, retailer Mind Factory alone has sold over 20,000 9800X3Ds now, leading us to estimate the worldwide units are probably in the hundreds of thousands. Now statistically, there's a very small chance that you experience one of these issues, but what stood out to us was the count of and the incident rate of these issues on ASRock specifically. Here's what's going on. Some user systems with a 9800X3D are able to post or power on self-test and run as expected. The time until failure ranges from under an hour to 3 months. Those with debug displays encounter a 00 error code, commonly indicating a CPU problem. From our research so far, there appear to be two possible root causes. One would be a bad batch from AMD. That would be a hardware level thing. The other is back to the BIOS. It looks like there's ASRock BIOSes causing problems with system boots as well as motherboard settings, possibly leading to potentially unstable CPUs. And one of the things we came across in here was a potential for voltage that was too low, which shouldn't hurt anything. It just wouldn't be able to boot. So that's good. That's actually good news because that means that you don't have to, hopefully, worry about the CPU just getting exploded. That has happened in the past. See Asus a year and a half ago or so. But one challenge is that there are some dead CPUs out there with burn marks. And currently the research we've been able to do makes it unclear how connected these issues are. So we just want to be very transparent about that. It is impossible right now where we are to differentiate with our current research between those possible failure modes without some more hands-on testing. So we'll keep monitoring to see if it becomes a bigger issue or if they're not able to fix it, and we'll go from there, and we'll maybe more aggressively pursue getting some components in from you all if they're not able to resolve it. But with the pace ASRock is working on it, there's already some progress. Hopefully. Also, just frankly, we are very bogged down in the lab right now because we're looking at a lot of different types of failure at the moment. Not just the GPU launches in general, but also actual hardware failures. So we'll come back to this. 12-volt high power, it's taking some focus at the moment. Anyway, strangely, we also noticed that many users note their boards work fine with other processors, either prior to or after their reported 9800X3D failure. Let's get into the causes of failure we found across the posts. All reported failures produce the same initial symptoms of failure, making it challenging to establish the source. Adding to the complexity, not everyone using a 9800X3D and ASRock motherboard experiences failures, of course, otherwise we'd see thousands of them. We'll start with findings from all failure types before covering specific cases where the origin's more easily identifiable. In the sample report of 42 9800X3D failures at the time of writing, the boards affected include 34 ASRock, 6 ASUS, which is interesting because ASUS has more market share than ASRock, 1 Gigabyte, and 1 MSI. Chipsets include 30 X870s, 6 B850s, 4 B650s, and 2 X670s, so it appears to be distributed across multiple chipsets. And 9800X3D failures cases where the origin's more easily identifiable. In the sample report of 42 9800X3D failures at the time of writing, the boards affected include include 34 ASRock, 6 ASUS, which is interesting because ASUS has more market share than ASRock, 1 Gigabyte, and 1 MSI. Chipsets include 30 X870s, 6 B850s, 4 B650s, and 2 X670s, so it appears to be distributed across multiple chipsets and multiple motherboards, but the distribution looks to match what people tend to buy right now. Failures occurred on BIOS. The distribution looks to match what people tend to buy right now. Failures occurred on BIOS versions 3.11, 3.15, 3.16, 3.17 beta, and 3.18 beta, though it's unclear if failures were necessarily caused by those BIOSes. For the time before failures, 6 weren't specified, 15 occurred in a week or less, with 4 of those happening in less than a day, 14 took place in the range of 1 week to 1 month, and 7 took over a month before failing. Also, 4 listings report the CPU showing burns or markings, which of course is what caught our attention. But again, it's hard to parse what might be causing those specific burns versus everything else. So we'll start with the BIOS issues. At least 4 users fixed their presumably dead 9800X3Ds by flashing back BIOS to a previous version, which means that the CPUs weren't dead, so that's good. And 2 remedied their issues by updating to a special BIOS sent to them by ASRock. User Flaring Up noticed failure after updating to BIOS 3.16. We saw that Elderoth experienced the issues after updating to BIOS 3.18. Fancy_Potato 1476's system malfunctioned shortly after installing Windows with the motherboard running 3.15 out of box, turning the computer into a true representation of the username as a fancy potato. This was also the same BIOS that user Kojak4323 was using when encountering a failure. These user reports indicate that inoperability, inability to boot, or some form of reported failure occur after updating BIOS, and specifically to versions 3.15, 3.16, or 3.18. And then they see the boot issues. 3 of those users claimed that BIOS flashback to a version 3.10 or 3.11 or other old versions resolved their issue. So for example, user Elderoth explained that a 3.10 flashback didn't immediately solve the problem, but after a second attempt to a 3.05 flashback, Elderoth was able to revive the system. From there, the user flashed to newer BIOSes and found 3.10 was the latest option working for the build. So that's sort of good. It at least suggests that these newer BIOS versions that were rendering the systems inoperable weren't necessarily killing the CPUs, except for the ones with the scorch marks on them, but that's a different story. And so they might be recoverable. Obviously, it's still a concern if ASRock is pushing BIOSes out there that just stop computers from working. They should be testing them more, but at least the CPU is not dead in this instance. It is rare for a BIOS to damage a CPU in the sense of like actually causing some physical damage or degrading it. It is possible if we rule out the 13th and 14th gen.
So kids, Papa's here.
Then it definitely is uncommon, but it has happened. So again, the Asus BIOSes we looked at previously were part of the failures of those 7800 XVDs. It's uncommon though, but at the time of writing this, we haven't spotted any 9800 XVD boot issues occurring on BIOS 3.10, possibly establishing it as the most stable option currently. Users who reverted to 3.10 reported their systems being fixed. As for users who received a BIOS from ASRock, according to one, ASRock stated, quote, "Attached is the new BIOS. Please do not spread this yet. It will probably be released soon." This BIOS is not related to the dying CPUs, which is interesting phrasing because that almost makes it sound like there's two issues, reinforcing what we've been speculating. ASRock continued though and said, but it can help with some other boot issue. If you can try it, that would be great. After the update, please remember to give the system a few minutes to see if it boots, end quote. So ASRock straight up saying it's not related to the dying issue is a bit of a red flag for something else, but we're still lacking heavier data on the actual CPU getting exploded side of things. There's not a ton of them out there yet, and hopefully there won't. Hopefully that yet becomes unnecessary, but we'll see. There's always room in this industry for something to make this job even more exciting. Not complaining about that one. But ASRock's statement to wait a few minutes is likely just a reminder about allowing memory training to happen, which is a good reminder in general, where memory training can take several minutes. You should wait 5 to 10 minutes. We've seen it take as long as like 15, even more if you have a Threadripper system with a ton of memory or something. But memory training can take a while. The other user with the new BIOS claimed, quote, ASRock confirmed to me that 3.18.mem03 that they provided to me increases the voltage to 1.2 volts for the 9800 XVD, and that allows it to boot and fix the 00 debug code. The issue is that not enough voltage was applied for some 9800 XVD units, and it was not stable, end quote. Both users reported this BIOS resolved their situation. This would be one of the better failures to have because it shouldn't damage anything, and it's definitely better than the possibility of overvolting the CPUs and going too high, which is something we saw reported as well. We'll come back to that though. But too little voltage would mostly just cause instability or inoperability. On February 24th, ASRock released a beta BIOS 3.20 with the description stating, quote, improved minority proportion of AMD 9000 series CPU boot issue, end quote. We assume this was the same BIOS previously sent out to those select users. Now, although those users saw their systems come back online, to be clear, an actually dead CPU, like one that has had physical damage, has burn marks on it or something, is not going to be revived by changing the BIOS. We think that some users experiencing boot issues and concluding it's a dead CPU might have been contributing to ASRock's disproportionately claimed CPU failures, and actually what they might have been seeing instead was just that it wasn't booting, but also it wasn't dead. But we definitely can't fault users for potentially thinking that. Let's move on to the potential for a bad batch. As seen in the 9800 XVD fails Google form results, out of the 9 users who included their CPU's batch or lot number in their responses, 7 are from batches CF2443PGY or CF2442PGY. But remember that this could be completely coincidental. We at GN have CPUs from both of these batches and they're fine. It doesn't necessarily guarantee bad batches, there's just a lot of coincidence here. And one thing to remember is that the 9800 XVD is in high demand, it hasn't been out that long yet, and so most of the CPUs of the 9800 XVD are going to be from just a couple of batches anyway, because there probably haven't been that many. We don't know how many there are, but it hasn't been out that long. And so likewise, people experiencing any kind of failure, whether it's caused by the board or the CPU, or it's just unstable or something, would likely be on a similar batch if they're all building and buying around the same time. So we wouldn't definitively state that there is a bad batch, but it's still worth exploring and considering in case this develops and more people report failures from these batches. So those would be the 2 codes to pay attention to if you start seeing at some point a slew of posts, especially with burn marks or something online where it is definitively a dead CPU. The 2 batches to pay attention to would be 2443 and 2442 specifically. But we would need more evidence to...
You wouldn't want me to get cross. Then you open it. Oh, who's this? A lost traveler? You're not supposed to be here, sweetie. Why, you're old. Old and pale. But never worry. A bit of butter, a bit of spice, and you'll make a tasty morsel. Just as soon as I catch you.
Come now, you cannot possibly fear any magical plants.
Show me what you got.
Ugh, that soup smells vile than a rotting carcass. Careful she doesn't douse you.
Come on, come closer. Stench. What the hell was that?
The Wicked Witch. You've heard of her, haven't you? Now, where did you put that key?
Listen, how'd you come by a weapon?
It's Prince Charming's. He no longer needs it. Here it is.
Thank you. She'd have begged me for certain if you'd not... Sienna?
Is that you? It's been years, Jack. Have you come to play? No, I just want your beans, so you can breathe easy.
Breathe easy? Because you aren't here to play? What's that about?
Jack knows what I mean, so he'll tell me where the beans are as fast as he can. Isn't that right?
Sienna, I'm sorry, but I haven't got them.
Oh, something tells me you're lying. Perhaps you wish to play the old games after all, hmm? This little piggy went to market. This little piggy went home, for instance.
I'm telling the truth. I swear it. Henrietta, she ordered them buried all over so you wouldn't be able to leave.
Where?
I don't know. But Joss, the boy with the thing for wolves, he should know. He sticks his nose in everyone's affairs.
He had better know. Because if not, I'll find you and we'll have ourselves a little talk. Understand? Now shoo! Ah, all right. So why is it you're here?
Searching for my lost childhood, wound up at Care. What do you think? Why might I be here? It's Dettlaff. He's trying to force Anna Henrietta's hand. Wants her to release you. Summoned monsters to attack Beauclair.
Sounds like Dettlaff, all right. But I doubt you came all this way just to bring me up to speed on current events. So get to the point, please.
Isn't it obvious? Offering to be your ally. We both want you out of here. You because you want your freedom back. Me because as soon as you meet with Dettlaff, he'll put an end to the chaos in the city.
You exposed me. I landed in prison because of you. Now you come to beg my help, I dare say. My life is full of surprises, isn't it? Well, normally I'd tell you to sod off. But, from what you say, folk are dying who have nothing to do with this. Not part of the plan. Dettlaff was only to kill those who deserved it. No one else. Fine, Witcher. I accept your offer. Consider us allies. Shake on it.
This place.
Yes, created by Arturius Vigo. Anna Henrietta and I would come here to play out scenes from our favorite fables.
Which didn't seem like she was playing.
Magical entropy. Without maintenance, the spell gradually disintegrates over time. It grows wild.
Your sister chose a dangerous place for your prison.
It's deceptive. Provided I don't provoke them, the fairy tale characters don't attack me. But you don't belong here. So you had best be on your watch.
Since you brought it up, the knights Dettlaff killed. What exactly did they do to you? Crespi, Dulac, Lacroix, Peyrac Peyran?
Not a memory I enjoy revisiting, but I suppose you deserve to know. When my parents disowned me, they ordered those very knights to escort me beyond the duchy's borders. All did so without uttering a single word in my defense.
Like you said, they had their orders.
Mm-hmm. But Crespi was not ordered to beat me unconscious with a horsewhip after my first attempt at escape. And Dulac had no instructions to deny me food and abuse me. I learned something then. Knights are not so chivalrous when no one's watching.
Sorry, but that's no excuse.
I didn't tell you so you would pardon me. I was only hoping you would understand.
Curse of the Black Sun. That's why you were banished, right?
Mm-hmm. Twisted princesses, mutants. I'm certain you've heard of us.
Even met one of you. Renfri of Craden.
And? Was she truly monstrous?
She was cruel, that's certain. But what caused it? The curse or what she went through? Asking myself to this day.
You killed her, didn't you?
Had no choice.
Funny. Mum said the same when she tossed me out of the house.
So, What's with the beans? Mind explaining?
Certainly. That you must gird yourself with patience. There are two ways out of this land. My darling sister blocked one when she tossed me in here. The other's up there, in the clouds. She made it hard, but not impossible to access by concealing the beans.
Still don't understand.
Don't fret, just listen. That boy, that was Jack, of Beanstalk fame. You know the tale?
Jack climbed a gigantic beanstalk to a giant's castle, high up in the clouds.
As we shall do if we can just find those blasted beans. There are 3. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 yellow.
Stalk won't sprout from just one?
No, because it must transpire exactly as it did in the tale. Clear now? So we must find Joss. Perhaps he will be able to help us. You lead. Joss will usually be found wandering the glade at the foot of the mount. It's some distance from here. Past the witch's house to the right. So, what exactly is happening in the city?
Bloodshed, a massacre, which is why we gotta hurry.
You wouldn't fret. Time flows differently in the Fablesphere. We can stay here a week, yet outside mere minutes will have passed. Watch out! Pixies! Butcher you!
Oh, how long you gonna make me wait? Not the friendliest pixies I've met.
Put you to protect the intruders, meaning you. Oh, unicorns! We must catch them. We won't have to walk everywhere then. I call the pink one. Exciting, isn't it? Reminds me of my childhood.
Reminds me of something altogether different.
Care to elaborate?
Rather not.
None at all. This is grand. I'm all right. Not in any danger. That's it. Joss. Blast, they're going to rip them in 6.
What? Lost your nerve? Relax, it's over.
No, it's not. There's more. Another wolf behind you. Ignore him. He always lies.
Aha. Boy who cried wolf. Still does, I suppose. And doesn't, when they actually appear.
The one and only. Listen, you little chit. Jack said you know what's become of his 3 beans. I don't know anything. Not one thing, and besides, watch out! Wolves!
This'll be interesting. Let's say for a minute you know what happened to the...
For certain, no one swallowed it. Oh, of course not. But says a human. The most human in... Everyone! Wolves! Run!
Bet you haven't heard what happened to the blue bean. Maybe? Not at all? Right?
I've heard it lies about somewhere.
Just like that?
Nobody. 3 times over. Help! Wolf!
Yellow bean. Don't know a thing about it, right?
It's somewhere very, and I mean very deep. So deep, in fact, it's completely underground. And who has it? A bold farmhand, who in no way and not at all awaits someone. Not in the slightest. Good folk! Wolf! Say that word one more time and I'll chop you up. Feed you to the fishes. Understood?
All right, we should go.
Watch out for wolves!
Tough to talk to, that one.
Was it, though? You need merely remember he always lies. Or more precisely, reverses the truth.
Where to now?
I'm not sure. We should visit some of the other fables. The meaty ones, that is. Perhaps then Joss's hints will make more sense. It's just a few. Red Riding Hood, Piglets and Bears, 3 of each. And Goldilocks, of course. Then Longlocks, and a little lass who sells flint.
Fine. Let's get to work. Incredible. You must have loved this place.
I did at first. But children get bored quickly. Even tea parties with a whole cackle of princesses eventually turn dull and routine.
What did you do then?
Dropped a duck egg in the swan's nest once, that sort of thing. Stole the pea out from under the princess. Who sleeps to this day, I think.
Time to end this. Three bears.
3 stools, 3 beds, 3 bowls.
One a bit too big, the other too small, a third just right.
Your shoes should be on the ground.
Ugly and fierce.
There are your buckets, yeah?
Well, how long you gonna make me wait? Incredible. You must have loved this place.
I did at first. But children get bored quickly. Even tea parties with a whole cackle of princesses eventually turn dull.
What did you do then?
Dropped a duck egg in the swan's nest once, that's what I did.
Three bears.
3 stools, 3 beds, 3 bowls.
One a bit too big, the other too small, a third just right.
Ugh, ugly and
What now, you piece of filth? curls. Rest of the body's too mutilated. Hard to say anything.
She got what she deserved, as I see it. Always took what she wanted without asking.
No bean here. Gotta keep looking. Hello? Can we talk?
Schwumbroch, my head! Damn it all! I swear that was the last time I drank. Oh, Sienna.
Whereas you, not at all.
And who should I run with, eh? Thumbelina? What?
Listen.
Where is it?
Shh, not...
Oh, I can be much louder.
Right there, the threats. Sienna to a T. Listen.
What?
1,000 times they cut my gut open, filled it full of rocks and drowned me in the river. So once you stopped coming, I decided to repay the little imp for all her luck. Who now what's at the bottom of the well? She and the hunter, which means we can't play, and I'm under no obligation to talk to you. Not to...
So...
Don't worry. I'll play with him. Or rather, play him. I just need that...
That's a relief.
You wish to help me? Here's your chance.
To go down that path. In those 7 responses of the exploded CPUs, the motherboards include 3 Asus, 2 ASRock, 1 GB, and 1 MSI, illustrating an expected distribution of failures. Asus is the largest vendor by market share. Now, if you have a definitely dead CPU and you want to check the batch number, here's how to do it. This is also just useful for warranty claims. CPU batch number can be found here, outlined in red. The batch number begins with 2 letters, which we believe to indicate CPU stepping. As explained by a user on Reddit, the letters are followed by 4 digits specifying the year and week the CPU is manufactured, and ends with 3 letters specifying ATMP and wafer production location. In the case of the CF2443PGY badge, these were produced towards the end of October 2024 and assembled in Penang, Malaysia. Now for ASRock's response. They've sort of started responding publicly and posting online, so they're still investigating, but we'll work through what they've posted. Current boot issues are addressed by the company's most recent 3.20 beta BIOS, though its efficacy has yet to be determined in a large scale. ASRock Japan's post on Twitter, machine translated, states issues occur after updating BIOS on already stable systems. If we jump back to Fancy Potato 14...
Look what I got.
That would never fit you. Give it to me. How do I look?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Let's go see the big...
Let me guess.
Mm-hmm.
You again? I thought I was clear. I will not talk to you if Little Red Riding Hood is not with you!
Not a problem. Sienna can take her place.
What? Very well. It's not as if I can forbid you. Granddaughter, come closer, sweetie.
But, Grandmama, what big eyes you have.
The better to see you with, my dear.
Granny, what big arms you have.
The better to embrace you with, my dear.
And Grandmama, what big teeth you have. Eh?
The better to eat you with, my dear.
Die. How long you gonna make me wait?
what Joss said about the red bean. A human has it, and he definitely didn't swallow it.
Mm-hmm. Gotta open his belly. Bottle caps, fake teeth, a corkscrew. Ah, here it is. Red bean.
Well then, one step closer to our goal.
What?
I find myself wondering if you're just horribly discreet, or if those mutations completely scrubbed away your curiosity. Are you really not interested in what happened? In what became of me after they cast me out?
Well, since you brought it up, I'd gladly hear the rest. Let's see. They'd escorted you out of the duchy.
Yes, and the noble knights of Toussaint, I didn't stop until we reached the Ketdu wilderness. They left me there alone, without a copper, in a torn lace dress, right when the frosts were setting in. They assumed something would eat me, or that I'd do everyone a favor and die of hunger. But as always, I failed to live up to expectations. I wandered the woods for a week, went purple from the cold, gnawed the bark from twigs. Finally, I saw a light among the trees. A campsite. They were bandits, bearded, drunk, spattered with blood. I was sure they'd rape me or kill me, or both.
Take it neither happened?
That's when I learned a robber and a murderer can be a better man than a knight in shining armor. They took me in, we set off for Nazaire, and I did what I could to repay them. I advanced in their ranks rather quickly. Eventually, I became their leader. Of the whole ragged band.
Been through a lot.
I have. And throughout this time, my sister was stomping grapes and shagging minstrels on down bedding.
She wasn't the one to banish you.
And I'm not angry at her for that. I'm angry at her because she forgot about me. Right. We've had our chat. Come.
Four animals stacked atop each other. What was the tale called again?
Musicians of Blavador. Huh. You've sung to the town as well, don't you?
But my tale's not much like this one. Could pull myself up here, and I'll have to make that jump.
If you say so, I shall wait down here if it's all the same. Climbing's not my strong suit.
1976, mostly because the name conveys a certain opulence that we appreciate, the Fancy Potato didn't update BIOS and still experienced boot issues.
Four animals stacked atop each other. What was the tale called again?
So?
Got the bean, but long logs. Seems she got sick of waiting for a knight in shining armor.
Can you blame her? Men these days, dandies and fops all.
That why you cozied up to a vampire?
Dettlaff was a tool, and only a tool.
Too bad he didn't know that.
I trust no one. Learned that long ago. Now it's his turn.
To use him. Was that your plan from the start?
No. At first I was simply intrigued. Do you know the story? It was in Metina, a few years past. I'd gone there to pass some loot off to a fence I know. We were hashing out the terms when in walked Dettlaff. He said he'd come to sell a silver candlestick. Encrypted through a cloth. That caught my eye. I followed him out, observed him from a distance, but he caught on quickly.
Yeah, superhuman senses will do that.
He turned down a blind alley. I followed. He jumped out from behind a crate, baring his teeth. I suppose he'd wanted to frighten me. Alas, he didn't in the least. After all, I'm a monster too, am I not?
A higher vampire and you were unimpressed? Don't know if that's brave or just plain foolish.
I've always had a way with ostensibly dangerous, quiet types.
That's supposed to be about me too?
Ugh, brother, I hate to disappoint you, Geralt, but your belly button is not the center of the known world. No, you do remind me of him a bit, stifling all emotions inside you, ever feigning indifference. You see, when I met Detlef, somehow I knew, call it intuition, that he meant me no harm, that he was trying to frighten me off, for he too was scared. Now do you understand?
I guess. What happened then?
We talked, then met up once, twice, 3 times. Enough that he became infatuated. I truly enjoyed it at first, but only at first. He did not love like a man, but like an animal, madly, deeply, unconditionally, wildly. To return such a feeling, anyone would be hard-pressed, let alone someone as twisted as I am.
So there came a day you just up and disappeared.
Yes, there was no other way. Let's just be friends, or I don't deserve you. He'd never have understood that sort of thing. But then, once I decided to return, clean up some old affairs, I remembered him and concluded he could still be of use.
Playing with fire, that.
Definitely. And either I'll get burned or I'll burn all else down. No other options.
Got a history with Detlef now, so this meeting will be different. Not afraid?
I can handle him.
Mm-hmm. Sure about that?
You look at him as a witcher and see a monster. I know what he's really like. You needn't worry. It's time to go. Just a bit more work and we'll be able to say sort off to this fecking fable sphere.
Salt flint.
Magic beans. Do you have any?
If it's not the new name of some kicker I already have, dearies, then no.
Hey, where'd you get that ribbon? That's mine.
Is that so? Then why was it lying in the bushes?
The ribbon.
There's not much to explain.
But it means a lot to you.
How should I put this? And the ribbon reminds...
Dears, could you continue this touching scene elsewhere?
Give Sienna the ribbon. Why not, huh?
Sugar plum. The only thing I hand out for free is a first hit. To get them to come back for a second, of course. For all else, you've got to pay.
What if I asked you nicely?
Ask me nicely and I might play you for it. A round of cards?
Oh, play one.
Fine, I'll pay you for the ribbon. This enough?
It's enough. Now go away.
All right. Tell me.
What?
What you want in return. You're not doing this out of the kindness of your heart.
Don't want anything in return.
Thank you. Watch out! Pixies! story, don't you? He's afraid of the big bad.
Looks like Big Bad's already blown down the houses of straw and sticks. Brick's the only one left.
We should look inside. Remember Joss's words?
One beam lies out in the open, guarded by 3 nobodies. Yeah, could be it.
Oh, Pumpwatch, they didn't like that.
Time to end this. How long you gonna make me wait? Witcher huffed and puffed, and look, got a beam.
It cannot be.
What cannot be?
You actually have a sense of humor. Well, when you arrived, all you did was... And now this. But here we are chatting away when there's work to do. The beans won't plant themselves, you know. Now we must plant them by the path near Longlock's tower. Then prepare to meet the giant. So, you like it here?
No, got a problem with magic in general. Illusions, portals, all that. Don't trust any of it.
A bow of old-fashioned tastes, eh? Oh look! The Emperor of Nilfgaard! He's come out to show off his new robe.
My new attire reveals itself but to the wise and cultivated.
Wait!
Why?
The stalk will sprout abruptly. Very abruptly. We must be careful. All right, toss them!
Something's always gotta go wrong.
The home stretch.
Incredible.
Admire the view later. First, we must deal with... him.
Come on!
Lost your nerve? For a fairy tale creature, that was one tough son of a wench.
I told you this land had gone ape mad, though I did not expect it to be so severe.
Can't help thinking you might have done that on purpose.
Why ever would I have?
To get rid of your guard, your captor. Getting close to the exit at this point. Probably think you don't need me anymore.
Well, you're wrong. You still stand to be quite...
That so?
No, I need... Well, don't just stand there and stare. I need a man, Geralt. And I'm not afraid to say...
Another time, another place, maybe. No offense.
None taken. You spoke clearly, you... Come. The exit's this way.
Will-o'-the-wisp. I think it's got something to show us.
Careful. It's not to be trusted.
Just curious. Why do you want the Heart of Toussaint and the ducal wine?
They were my right. My due.
Doubt we would have figured you out if you hadn't tried to get them. Know that, don't you?
I do, and I regret nothing. One lives but once. Here, we need but jump into the well. You first.
Portals in a fountain? Not terribly practical.
It was a secret passage. Henriette and I would use it to...
Hide from your governess, which luckily she noted down in her diary, thus I knew where to await you. Never mind that. Has the young lady agreed to help clean up the mess she's made?
She has. And stop treating me as if I were a child.
Would you prefer I treated you like the lion that manipulated you are?
Calm down, both of you.
But...
No buts. Let's go. Really want to be done with this. Nice place.
Isn't it? Offers a lovely view of the valley. On a clear day, you can see the outlines of Duntine.
Is it, though? A ruin like any other, I think.
So sensitive. So aware. Honestly, what did Dettlaff ever see in you?
Perhaps he'll tell you himself.
Let's get ready. Sienna, I have a question I must ask you.
Did you truly feign it all? That which bound us was a ruse?
Dettlaff, it's not that simple.
Oh no, it's very simple. You either deceived me or not. In forgiving you, I grieve. For now, we must part.
What? But how?
ribbon?
Ha! Seems I've been fooled again. She will pay for this sooner or later. She will pay! You never should have meddled, Witcher!
Didn't plan any of it. Time to end this.
Seemingly contradicting Azraq's claim. The Azraq...
Nice place, isn't it?
Is it? Perhaps it...
Let's... The ribbon.
us. You tricked me. Both of you.
Didn't plan any of it. Die.
What the hell? So you don't dodge, you have to run. That's crazy.
Post further explains.
That stench.
I was just a mess. You tricked me. Both of you.
Didn't plan any of it.
Silence.
No, no way.
I want just the last. You tricked me. Both of you.
Didn't plan any of it.
Silence.
What? Lost your nerve?
Acknowledge any gods. Start playing
I don't understand that. Why is he crouch running? I don't understand why he's crouch running. Why did you crouch? Why did you crouch?
Come on.
I want just the last. You tricked me. Both of you.
Didn't plan any of it.
Silence.
Come on, come closer.
acknowledge any gods. Start playing
The hell? Wanna stop? How did I get stuck? I didn't even walk into it.
Quote, the issue is caused by some older DDR5 RAM and certain memory controllers on X3D CPUs, as well as the impact of a G-SIP. Now, the first part of that wouldn't really make sense because if the system is working,
Didn't plan any of it.
Silence.
Die. Damn it.
I'm pressing. it didn't it work? And I started running. Right, I haven't even loaded in yet.
Didn't plan any of it. What? Lost your nerve?
What? There's no way. I'm running, and it's not working. I'm running, and it's not working. It just kills me through everything.
And then it doesn't work.
Didn't plan any of it. Well, how long you gonna make me wait?
How?
Come on, come closer.
I pressed it. I pressed A, it doesn't go. It doesn't go. What's the point?
Work. It doesn't really link up to RAM that was stable and then just suddenly isn't. But what might connect it is the Aegisa part. Aegisa is the binary that AMD distributes that's part of the BIOS.
Didn't plan any of it. Come on.
he taught you everything? Son, how's he taught you everything?
Acknowledge any gods. Start praying now.
Leave him to me. Be gone.
I can't let...
I insist. My, what a smashing ensemble. You wear it well.
Shut up. I look like a twit.
The caftan is sewn of the best fabrics available, and according to the best tailoring practices. But one must have a modicum of taste to appreciate this. Even the most exquisite robes cover only deficiencies in beauty, never in refinement.
Usually wear something different, better suited to my trade. Got nothing against this particular outfit, though. Just don't exactly feel comfortable in it. And I despise formal occasions.
Nothing one can't get accustomed to. Now, be so kind as to stand still. All that being as it may, Toussaint's highest honor, the Order of Vitis Vinifera, demands appropriate attire. The Duchess cannot be expected to drape the medal on a suit of armor caked in mud. Palace protocol places enormous emphasis on form, virtuous tradition, etiquette.
Huh. A tradition which values appearances ahead of all else, which calls for lordly, glistening triviality and misplaced generosity.
Sound wistful.
Hardly. It's the tone I ever adopt when Besides, I've known...
Why not?
Because unlike you, I don't have to. I shall begin to pack my belongings instead. I trust you'll join me later. What?
Count on it. Ceremonies, medals honoring virtues, just keeps coming up.
I've had no reprieve either. And I keep thinking of the last great virtue, compassion.
Mean you suddenly believe the 5 virtues theory?
It's not a question of belief, superstition, or old wives' tale. Syanna planned everything in advance. Had we not stopped her, surely there'd have been a 5th victim. What?
Her plans don't matter now. Can't act on them. Ask the messenger who delivered my invitation to the ceremony. Syanna's in the palace. Courtiers pressure.
Do you care not a whit who else was in her black book? We've some time before the ceremony. We could still chat with that boot-cleaning urchin. He was the one to pass the victims' names to Dettlaff. Perhaps we missed something.
Regis, Bootblack didn't say anything about making deliveries when we talked to him. How do you know he handled the letters?
While you basked in glory and tried on new formal wear, I conducted a little investigation of my own. You'd be very proud to see how I conducted myself. I began by concocting an ample supply of boot wash for our enterprising young friend. I'd observed that among street folk, amidst their society as a whole, reciprocity takes precedence over all other codes, and thus no good deed goes unrewarded. Of course, the same holds true for malicious or destructive deeds.
The letters, what's the connection?
When the bootblack arrived to collect his bucketful, he hinted he knew more. Simply put, we'd failed to ask the proper questions when we chatted earlier. It took a bit more tongue-loosening, but ultimately he spoke. He admitted he'd handed Dettlaff the letters. He knew this information was valuable to me. In providing it, He was simply repaying me.
All in all, why not check up on that?
I am done, yes. It lies in your... Or, if you will first
Promise to be careful.
Oh, it's the swordsman. Good to see you. Here for a spiffing? Dirty boots are a stain on professional dignity.
Need to ask you something.
Yet again? Go on then.
Guess they could use a spit and polish.
Then I shall take advantage as well. A friend of mine used to say boots should be as clean.
Clean boots, clean soles. A fine slogan.
How's business?
Well enough. I can't complain.
Man in the frock coat.
Why, of course.
If you're about to tell me this... How'd you get the...
Beggars brought them.
Why didn't you
You didn't ask a...
Beggars.
Why, 4. 1 for each letter.
Just 4? Sure you didn't...
I can't count, you know.
Remember anything else?
What? Come now. Oh, I know.
Kid, my patience is... Remember...
Of course.
Geralt, allow me to ask a question. But you must focus now and...
Well, at the shelter,
Where's that?
everyone knows.
Thanks, kid. For your trouble. You must visit the shelter. Look around inside.
Your boots could use some polish, Vagrant.
battle camp elsewhere. You? What do you want?
To talk.
Here, that's a waste of breath.
Gentlemen, calm, please.
Either get out along with these fleas.
Scram! These...
The shelter.
Look, Ballard.
Damn you,
Decent folk.
Why?
Hell yes.
Hear that, Artois?
We should step aside, good fellow. My friend is perfectly capable of settling this on foot.
Get hurt.
Shit.
All right. I can take a hint. Come, time to go.
I thank you so much for your aid. I tried to...
What did they want from you?
They are neighbors. I do not oppose going elsewhere were we to have somewhere.
What is the...
You could.
You help?
Because they...
Need some information.
They boot black.
Any of your,
Forgive me. Those I help and I are not so close that I would know. You can question them.
Sure.
They're not obliged to come, of course.
Thanks.
My dears, I've a matter to address before I serve the soup. These two gentlemen have some questions of you. Pay attention. Answer in brief, for if you draw it out, your soup will go cold.
Recently, 4 of you
Does anyone know what's the gentleman?
Why should I squeal? We were...
You can tell me, Romain. You were given it.
I got one too. Gave it to the...
I still have mine. I'm to deliver it 2 days after the Feast of St. Barnabas.
I need the letter. It's very important. It's no use to you anymore.
But I was to deliver it personally. Let no one else see it. That is what she said, and she was frightening. You ought to heed folk who are kind and honest. These men helped me a short while ago, helped all of us. If this individual threatened you, you need not keep the promise you made.
All right, take it. I didn't want to see the boot black anyways. It's always muddy there.
Damn it.
What is it? Another name, truly?
See for yourself.
Well. I must say, even I did not expect this. This time you will see to our Duquesa. It seems we underestimated Siana rather grossly.
Judging by this, Detloff was literally supposed to tear her heart out.
Yet first you must snap her neck.
What was that?
Puzzle complete.
Alas, the latter ceased to be a tantalizing brain.
Duchess was to be dead.
Indeed.
4 seemingly random victims to start. Obscured the victims' links to Siana, even as she had.
Had she managed to fulfill her plan, none would have questioned the reasons. Most would have thought Anna Henrietta had died. She was known to show a hard heart on many occasions.
Why would Siana murder her own sister? Out of envy? To take power? From an inborn penchant for evil?
Yes, yes, and yes. All seem likely.
Actually,
praiseworthy, I suppose.
Seems a bit strong.
She used my friend as her tool for killing. I believe I've every right to condemn her. But some philosophers think empirical examination that... I believe you mentioned the Duchess...
Courtiers were insisting on a harsher punishment. Much harsher. Think on it. One way or another, she's locked away in a secluded wing of the palace. Coming with?
Of course not. I shall await you at Mare la Chaise-Longue. I'll not risk it. Besides, I vastly...
So, said straight up, it means you're going off to get drunk because you...
I've never been fond of categorical statements. She treated Dettlaff cruelly. Caused his death in the end, and now this? Atop all that, no go.
How semantic.
And that would affect memory behavior. So if there's any truth to that statement, then it's the Aegis support that's key. Now, when asked if it's AMD or ASRock who's responsible, the company stated via translation, quote, "It is caused by a very specific combination of components," end quote. The post ends by repeatedly expressing, quote, "Do not update the BIOS if it's already running stably." Generally, we'd agree these days BIOSes can include things that are important, like security updates happen all the time. Those you should have, in most situations at least. But once you're happy with the system and it's stable, if there's no security reason to do so, then leaving the BIOS as it is what I personally would recommend, just generally, because unless you have a precise reason to update it and you know you want to update it, then just leave it alone. So anyway, wrapping it up, it looks like this is a combination of issues. So there is definitely a BIOS problem. There's potentially a voltage too low problem, which is causing inoperability at attempted boot. That shouldn't harm anything physically, so that's a good problem to have as far as all the problems go. There's a potential bad batch, and the BIOS issue could have multiple sub-issues. So we did see one report pointing to a potential too high voltage, specifically VSOC, which is a big red flag for everyone who saw it, because that was the ASUS issue a while ago.
Need to see Sienna, urgently.
In the matter of?
Need to interrogate her. New facts have come to light.
Fine then. You're that...
Promise to be brief.
The Witcher will speak with the inmate. You can take a momentary break.
As long as it's truly but a moment. Highly irregular, this.
Have you come to see how I fare? I'm fine, thank you. Artorius' ribbon worked wonders. It's a shame they took it from me.
I know who the fifth victim was supposed to be.
Goodness, you're simply a compulsive snoop. I'm in prison. Dettlaff is dead. Could you not just drop it?
Sienna, stop pretending you couldn't care less. I know it's an act, and it's really starting to wear. Why'd you want to kill her?
For such an
Because she turned her back on you?
Bravo, Geralt. Yet another riddle solved, and your sick curiosity sated. Well, what now? Off to share your
Definitely gonna tell her. Not necessarily for the coin, though.
Then why do it at all?
She ought to know. If only...
I probably will.
Perhaps, just for a second, you could stop dwelling on all the wrongs folk have done you and forgive her.
Why should I?
For old time's sake, you loved each other once.
Please. I don't know who fed you that rubbish, but...
Read your governess's diary. You played together, were inseparable. Henriette'd get you into trouble sometimes, sure. But there were also times she stood up for you. When you had nightmares, only she could calm you. Time eats away at memories, distorts them. Sometimes we only remember the good. Sometimes only the bad.
If she loved me so, why did she wash her hands off me? Forget me, hmm?
Don't know. But you could just ask her instead of sending monsters after her.
There's nothing she could say to change what she did to me, to justify it.
Maybe. But there's nothing out there to justify what you did to her and all Toussaint. Yet Anna Henrietta hasn't given up on you.
Ugh. You really want a happy ending, don't you? With all of us living happily ever after. Go, Witcher, or they'll give your medal to another. And that would be a shame.
Farewell, Syanna.
Commander de la Tour would like to see you. Shall we go at once?
Let's go. Damien.
Geralt, it's about time. Ready for the ceremony?
Got some important information. Anna Henrietta was supposed to be...
You are certain of this?
Completely. Found proof.
Inconceivable. How could she? The murders that... I must alert my men. And... I thank you, Witcher. Let's begin the ceremony. In the Guild's name, I beg your assistance, your enlightened highness. Without barrels, production will come to a stop, and it will be the end of us.
You lost them all in the fire. These are horrible tidings. Oh, we are most dreadfully saddened.
Yes, your enlightened highness all. Once the beasts had clawed their way into the warehouse, the whole place went up in flames.
I shall dispatch a palace guardsman to examine the site of the blaze. If things are, as you say, fitting compensation shall be paid from the ducal treasury.
Thank you, your enlightened highness. Your Grace, Geralt of Rivia has arrived.
My dear subjects, we come now to our next point of business. Of all the duties which fall upon my shoulders, as the ruler of this dominion, this duty is dearest to my heart. For now, we shall award the Order of Vitis Vinifera, Toussaint's highest honor.
Geralt of Rivia, slayer of the beast of Beauclair, step forth.
We bestow the distinction upon the Witcher, who saved Beauclair from the terrible beast. Such is our desire. May this symbol serve as a reminder to all
that the Witcher shall forever remain a friend of Beauclair. In more familiar terms now, I thank you immensely, Geralt. Damien has your reward for you. After all, it was but a contract.
Thank you.
I have a small surprise for you, in addition. I give you more than a dozen barrels of Sonrial, a wine normally reserved for the ducal table. The gustatory experience of a lifetime awaits. Are you content?
Feels like a second distinction. I'm honored. Thank you.
I trust you shall make good use of it. In a moment I shall speak to Siana. Will you assist me? You returned my sister to me, yet you also showed me her horrendous deeds. As head of state, I must judge her fairly, but she is my sister. Thus my heart bleeds for her.
If my presence will help in any manner, of course I'll stay.
We shall now question a person implicated in the murders which recently ravaged our fair city of Beauclair. Captain de la Tour, show Sylvia Anna in.
The Witcher will take part in our talk.
The Duchess requested I be present.
You have committed crimes. Grave crimes. Yet you are my sister, and my heart does not allow me to treat you as a common criminal. Thus I have asked Geralt to advise me, as one impartial. I shall now hear what he has to say.
Bitterness consumes Siana. She had cause to resent many of the court of Beauclair. I know her reasons, understand them even. But I can't condone the actions she chose to take.
What is he talking about, Siana?
You know exactly what. I was forcibly exiled, remember? To your benefit. You knew well the throne would then be yours, though I was the elder. The ministers I can understand. They'd hated me since I was a child, thought me a poor prospect for the wife of a duke. I even understand our parents had always sensed the problem. They simply feared me, for I dared to be free. That fabricated curse, it fell into their laps. A gift from above that brought relief. But you... your dagger hurt most. You were my Henrietta, dammit. My darling little sister. Now do you understand, Witcher? She betrayed me.
You were children then. You and your sister both had no control over what happened.
You're wrong, Witcher. She had control. Remember, dear sister, the day they banished me from the palace? Of course, I'd had the idea to pelt the Nilfgaardian envoy with fish bladders, which we filled with rancid suet on a lark, and which you set afire at the last to impress me, I imagine. And I admit, you did. Hit him right in his hideous bald patch. Never laughed so hard in my life. But when it came time to find the culprit, you said not a word. I took all the blame and all the punishment.
It's true. I did not stand up for you. I was too afraid.
The council was unanimous. They listed all my offenses. My flights from the palace, supposed acts of cruelty, inappropriate friendships. They cast me out. But you, the only one to understand me, you cowered in a corner, lifted not a finger to help. Not before, not after. You never tried to find me.
That's not true. I searched for you, sent out knights, gathered tidings from without. You did not wish to be found. Since the day you vanished, I have lived with the knowledge that I failed you. I'm sorry, dear sister. Can you forgive me?
All in all, best part of the whole ceremony? It was short.
Perhaps for you, as you ducked out early. The others are probably just getting started. The drunkenness never ends in this quaint realm.
Not so fond of Toussaint after all, are we?
Oh, this place is like a strong wine, Geralt. Good in small sips. How do you find my personal brew? Not too strong?
Just right.
Credit the local mandrake of the Alrauna diabolus variety for that. The tubers which grow in this area's volcanic soil have an altogether unique flavor profile and display a remarkably uncommon dark brown tint.
Fascinating. All I can say is this batch turned out excellent.
Indeed. It might be wise to stockpile some roots for the future. Would you care to accompany me?
If you think it's a good idea, let's go. But I think you might be forgetting one thing. Fresh mandrake root of this variety is highly toxic, even to a witcher.
Ah, not a problem. I never forget matters of safety and hygiene in alchemy. Here, gloves and a mask. Don them, and you shall be in no danger.
Thanks. Right then, let's go.
This moonlight makes me, oh, so dreamy.
Penny for your thoughts. Let me guess. Succubus twins?
No, I was thinking about... how anything can look interesting when properly lit.
Even an old necrophage corpse?
You've not an ounce of refinement in you, have you?
Where'd that bloodsucker go? Won't be easy to track down. He's a vampire after all. Damn it, where'd you go?
Regis!
Damn it, where'd you go?
You raise your hand against the vampire! You shall die for that!
How long you gonna make me wait?
What I have to do! Get like this! Dead!
Those Bruxae, they called you a traitor.
Alas, we've a very simple code of honor, we vampires. So simple you might call it trivial. Either one is with us, unconditionally, regardless of the circumstances, or...
Won't let it go, will they?
They will not. Fortunately, we've another rule, an unwritten one, and just as trivial as the first. It is neatly summarized in the saying, out of sight, out of mind. That is why I must leave Toussaint. For a vastly long time, most like.
Yeah, I get it.
Let us make for my camp. I've an overwhelming desire to have another drink. Supreme bouquet. Firm, defined beginning, then develops gently, rising to a startling finish. Don't you think?
Not much of a connoisseur.
Then it is high time you started your education. After all, the Corvo Bianco vineyard is now yours. By the way, I left a gift for you at your new home, on the nightstand.
Thanks. Mind telling me what it is?
A trifle. That will nonetheless be useful should you need mutagens. Incidentally, have you thought about what you'll do with your prize? Shall you hang your swords over the mantle and take to pruning vines?
Don't really know yet. Might find the life of a hard-working vintner too tempting one day. Or maybe I'll just stick to the path, go on roaming, staring up at the stars after laying my bedroll at the roadside.
Ah, roadsides, bedrolls, and the sky above. I sense some poetry coming on, which of course brings to mind Dandelion. I can remember a night, not too far from here if I'm not mistaken. We hid in a cave while a blizzard raged all about. Does that sound at all familiar?
How could it not? We just set off to rescue Ciri from Vilgefortz.
Oh, our encounter with Vilgefortz. That is something I do not remember so fondly. But that first stay in Beauclair, far calmer than this one.
Seemed like a land straight out of a fairy tale back then. Its sole problem, cellars too small to accommodate all that wine.
Appearances, Geralt. Appearances, like Mamoons and Dopplers, deceive. So what did become of Vilgefortz?
Killed him. Sure wasn't easy, though. What about you? Any idea where you'll go?
Distance is of the essence. I thought I might venture south.
Nilfgaard?
Why ever not? The Nilfgaardians are a modern society. None there believe in vampires anymore. This fact alone could be very useful to one wishing to remain incognito.
Interesting point of view. I I so don't feel like going anywhere. Sit here a while longer?
So we shall, my friend. We have witnessed, and in fact on several occasions incited, many great and weighty events. After all that toil, I believe we deserve a bit of a rest.
That we do. Actually, I'd love to go home.
Master Witcher, some unknown individual barged into the residence. I resisted as best I could, but to no avail.
Who is it?
Alas, they did not do me the basic courtesy of introducing themselves.
Unexpected as ever. And beautiful as ever.
Won't you even ask why I've come? Or how I found you?
Wouldn't get a straight answer anyway.
Quite true.
Used to bother me, all your secrets. Now I know if you have something to tell me, you'll tell me. Don't need to ask.
I missed you, Geralt. Madly. Come outside. We can hold hands and stare at the sky, like some shitty two-crown romance.
Brought quite a few books. Let me guess. Working on a new spell?
Not at all. These aren't grimoires, just pleasure reading.
Always thought...
Because I was. But now I'm not. A few weeks ago, I awoke to the realization, and you know what? I like... Which is why I came here.
Liking to...
The lamp...
But
the southern sun plays havoc with my wardrobe. To be blunt.
Might need to think about...
And I'll wear scents distilled from... I think I shall simply stay in the shade. And you'll bring me...
Bring you whatever you want. You know?
I must say I never picked...
Was something of an... Yen, back then, before we fought the hunt, said you wanted to run away with me to the world's end. This vineyard. Good enough?
Yes. Although, there's one thing missing.
Namely?
I shall give you a hint. It's large, white, has 4 legs, category taxidermy.
Oh, yeah. The unicorn. Fine. You can bring it down here.
I knew you'd see things my way.
Ever thought this day would come? Me and you, peace and quiet. Bees buzzing, birds chirping.
I almost regret delaying so long before coming to you. I was quite the silly goose.
You have doubts? Though I imagine it might have been hard coming after me. Always were proud as a peacock.
Please, Geralt. I'm not like other sorceresses to feel that following someone means my wings have been clipped.
Ooh, watch what you say about your colleagues. Remember, it's an ill bird that fouls its own nest.
Well said, Witcher. You're not only handsome, but wise, too. I feel a bit like the cat that got the canary.
Yeah, and I'm... Damn it, you win. This time.
Ha!
How'd that start, anyway? Our duels and wordplay.
Forgotten. It was at a vernissage in Banard. You started it to keep from going mad with boredom. I remember finding your sense of humor both groan-worthy and somehow endearing. Never change, Geralt. I beg you.
So?
Of course.
Pleasure to... I previously served with distinction.
Whoa, Barnabas.
Oh, in that...
Great. Starting to...
As you wish.
Been thinking about...
If I might dare to... Not only did the...
It's in your hands, then.
I shall get to work immediately. Highly skilled at what... Is there anything...
That's all for now. Renovations coming along all right, Barnabas Basil?
Superbly, sir. General refurbishment has been completed. And I took the liberty of adding 2 racks, each upon which you might hang weapons and armor, if you've some pieces you'd like to display. Likewise, I have prepared a few spots in which new paintings might be hung. In Athenus, the laborers dusting out the cellar have made a most unusual discovery. I believe...
If you say I Strange. Something behind this wall, I think. The laboratory. Must have been an alchemist at one time.
Wish and a whack, and that was all she wrote for.
BB, know anything about the laboratory?
A laboratory? Alchemy?
It is. It was walled up. Equipment's pretty ancient. Whoever it was sure knew their stuff, though.
Forgive me.
Just saying, it's top-notch equipment. True masterpieces of craftsmanship for use in alchemy. Brewing a concoction with this stuff versus doing it over no...
Then I am all the more
Starting to really like...
As you wish, sir.
Starting to get...
What a splendidly wise idea.
So...
Well, you're in luck.
Good idea, Barnum.
The idea is your... Will you be need...
You know...
Oh, Ponder the...
Let's put it...
Not the slight...
A witcher.
But the thing there, again, just like we talked about last time with Asus, is that the software is not always accurate, especially when you're sorting by a max value. So it's a max spike and it peaks just once. It might not be a real measurement. You'd need to take a lot more careful.
Renovations...
Very well in...
Starting...
As you wish.
That's all for...
Even a horse drops if you ride it at a constant gallop. My regrets. Hi there! Ho there! Honestly, it's a shame you killed the beast. Now we shall abandon all morality whatsoever.
It matters not that a man's as fit as a fiddle if he never gifts his lady.
Can we talk?
Always.
So...
Of course.